Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into an article that, well, it genuinely shifted my perspective, made me rethink some, fundamental ideas about our economy.
Okay.
It's called The End of Consumerism, Why AI Abundance Won't Save Us, and it's by Scripter.
Right. I read it too. It's quite something.
It really is. Because, we've all been talking about AI taking jobs, haven't we? That's the standard conversation.
It is the usual worry.
But this piece, it goes so much further. The core argument is, well, it's profound. It suggests AI doesn't just, disrupt jobs.
Uh-huh.
It actually dissolves the very purpose behind millions of them. It changes the entire economic model we've lived under for decades.
That's it. Exactly. And that's really our mission today, isn't it? To try and break down this comprehensive and, let's be honest, kind of unsettling argument.
Definitely, that's a
Explore what it really means, its implications, help you, the listener, understand this critical shift that could, well, completely redefine how our whole global civilization coordinates itself. It's big picture stuff.
Huge picture. Okay, so let's unpack this. When we normally hear consumerism, what pops into mind? Shopping, right?
Yeah.
Buying things, maybe retail therapy.
Yeah, the mall, Amazon, adding to cart.
Exactly. But this article says, hold on, that's just the surface. It challenges that common idea, saying it's much, much more than just, what we do with our spare cash. What's the deeper mechanism here, according to Scripter?
Well, the central thesis is that consumerism, maybe without us even fully realizing it, has been this sort of hidden engine.
A hidden engine.
Yeah, for mass economic coordination.
Uh-huh.
It's this massive global way of organizing human labor on a scale we've never seen before.
Mm.
And the argument now is that AI is actively phasing it out.
Phasing out the engine.
Right. Eliminating not just jobs, but whole economic sectors, even the kind of ideologies built around them.
Yeah.
And crucially, without replacing them with new ways for most people to participate economically.
Wow. Okay.
Just think about it for a second. Every single product, the article says, from pencils to aircraft carriers,
Yeah.
that represents the coordinated labor of thousands, sometimes millions of people. It's not just the factory floor, it's the whole chain. Design, marketing, finance, logistics, everything.
Okay, so it's this incredibly complex web of activity. But if it's not, like a top-down command system like in the old Soviet Union or something,
Yeah.
what motivates all that coordination? What gets millions of people working together to make all this stuff?
That's the clever part, according to the article. It's desire.
Desire, just wanting things.
Pretty much. That yearning for, nicer things, maybe better status, a better lifestyle overall, that desire is what kicks off the whole cycle.
How does that work?
Well, advertising sparks the desire, right? Then banks offer credit so you can act on it. Retail outlets provide the place to buy. Logistics gets it to you. And this loop, this feedback loop, turns people into both consumers wanting more and workers needing to produce to earn the money to consume.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. So you work to buy, and you buy because you desire, and that keeps the whole thing spinning.
Exactly. And here's a key point.
Mhm.
Most jobs, think marketers, coders, bankers, analysts, they don't actually make the core physical things.
Right.
They exist to support the desires of those who do. They service the system of wanting and getting.
So it's this massive, almost self-feeding economic snowball. You make stuff, people buy it, that creates support jobs. Those people then buy more stuff. And round it goes. It's felt like a perpetual motion machine, almost unstoppable.
That's a good way to put it. A giant snowball effect.
And you mentioned the Cold War earlier. The article argues consumerism didn't just, ideologically compete with the Soviet system.
Yeah.
It actually won that fight. How?
Yeah, it's fascinating, right? The West's approach letting people chase their own dreams, houses, cars, vacations, it just proved way more dynamic, more innovative than the Soviet Union's sort of top-down, coercion-based planning.
So individual desire was more powerful than state command.
It seems so. That drive for a better personal life ended up fueling incredible innovation and productivity. Consumerism became, as the article puts it, a kind of stealth weapon.
Stealth weapon. How so?
Well, it allowed Western governments to raise taxes more easily. People felt they were getting something back. It helped fund huge projects like the moon landings. And it motivated brilliant scientists and engineers not just with patriotism, but also with the promise of, well, luxuries, a nice life.
Okay, so it wasn't just about ideology, it was about delivering the goods, literally.
Exactly. And after the USSR collapsed, consumerism didn't just win, it went global. Even China, despite its political system, basically plugged into a consumerist model to drive its economy, became the world's factory, feeding global demand.
Right. But here's where the article drops that twist I mentioned earlier, the part that really made me stop and think. It says a system built to beat an enemy doesn't know how to shut itself down once the enemy is gone. What happens when consumerism has no more big rivals?
That's the unsettling part. According to the article, consumerism sort of morphed. It became a totem, almost a religion in its own right.
A religion.
In a sense, malls were its cathedrals, influencers, its preachers. Marketing stopped just meeting needs. It started actively inventing new ones. The underlying message became, like the article says, I spend, therefore I am. It got tied up with our
Oh,
identity.
wow. Okay. So if this system is so dominant, so deeply ingrained, almost like a religion, how on earth could AI bring it to an end? That seems like the multi-trillion-dollar question the article tackles.
It is, and the core point is pretty startling. AI isn't just replacing people. It's replacing consumerism itself.
Replacing the whole system, how?
Think about all those consumerism supporting tasks we talked about.
The marketing, coding, analysis.
Exactly. AI can do a huge chunk of that now. Coding, designing ads, analyzing market data, handling customer support. It can do it at like near zero marginal cost. And at a scale humans just can't match.
And we're actually seeing signs of this already, aren't we? The article mentions those big layoffs, Microsoft, Google, even Ford. They're cutting entire layers of white-collar support staff. It feels different from just, regular downsizing.
It does feel different
Yeah.
because it suggests AI is fundamentally killing the snowball, like we called it earlier, not just reshaping it.
Killing the snowball.
Yeah. Things like marketing and sales, the absolute fuel for that old consumer loop, they're becoming, well, potentially expendable as AI gets better at optimizing everything directly.
Which brings up the idea, lots of people float as a solution. Universal basic income, UBI. Give everyone money as jobs disappear. Does Scripter think that works in this scenario?
The article is pretty blunt about UBI. It dismisses it as quite naive.
Naive. Why?
For a very stark, pragmatic reason. It argues we're entering an AI survival race, particularly with competitors like China gaining ground fast.
An AI survival race.
Yeah, and in that kind of race, the argument goes every spare dollar, every resource will be ruthlessly plowed back into AI research and development, into building the infrastructure, not handed out for, as the article puts it, lattes and Netflix subscriptions.
Oof. So national competition trumps individual welfare in this view.
That's the implication. The priorities shift dramatically away from supporting mass consumption towards securing a nation's technological edge. Survival, basically.
Okay, that leads straight into this other huge concept in the piece, the AI survival race itself. This idea completely changes what we think of as valuable in an economy, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. You know how in a normal recession, companies cut, say, HR or marketing first, the support roles to protect the revenue-generating staff?
Sure, the core business functions.
Well, the article says in this new AI era, revenue is no longer the metric. Forget revenue.
Dear revenue, what's the metric then?
The only metric that matters becomes brutally simple. Are you helping us survive the AI race? That's the scorecard.
Wow. That is stark. The implication is that anyone not directly contributing to AI development or the infrastructure or its application, they just become obsolete.
That's the harsh logic presented, yes.
Yeah.
It becomes almost a binary. You're either helping win the race or you're basically dead weight from the perspective of this new economic imperative.
So, okay, if this is really where things might be heading, what are some of the specific predictions, the impacts? What does a future without mass consumerism look like, according to this article?
Well, the job forecasts are pretty eye-watering. It suggests anywhere from 50% to maybe even 90% of all current jobs are fundamentally consumerism supporting.
50 to 90%.
That's the range they float. And these jobs will just become unnecessary. We're talking analysts, support staff, marketers, sales reps, even potentially a lot of coders whose work is tied to the old consumer web.
That's almost everyone in certain sectors.
It's a massive chunk of the modern white-collar workforce.
Yeah.
And beyond jobs, think about investments. Entire industries. Google's ad business, Amazon's marketplace, they're built entirely on driving and skimming off consumer behavior. What happens to them if that behavior radically shrinks?
Their whole foundation crumbles.
Potentially. And it is close to home, too. The article specifically calls out residential real estate.
Right, you mentioned that. Why live downtown?
Exactly. If the jobs aren't downtown anymore, and the shopping isn't the main draw, Why pay the premium to live near city centers?
So people spread out, property values change drastically.
The article paints a potential future with major deflation because demand collapses, debt collapses because the loans based on old economic assumptions can't be repaid. Even ghost cities, as consumption-driven activity just evaporates.
This is pretty bleak stuff.
Is. And the article frames this whole shift not just as an economic transition, but as a new war.
A war.
A geopolitical struggle, essentially. With China rising so fast as a tech superpower, the argument is the West simply can't afford the luxury, the inefficiency of mass consumerism anymore. It's become a strategic liability in this AI race.
That's where that Formula One car analogy comes in, right? The one about it idling in the parking lot.
Exactly. Consumerism is like that Formula One car left idling, burning fuel but going nowhere, useful in this new race.
Yeah, the punchline.
The punchline is chilling. AI is the new driver,
Right.
and it doesn't need passengers.
Wow. Okay. So after painting this incredibly challenging, almost dystopian picture, what's the bottom line? What's the article's final direct advice for us, for individuals trying to navigate this?
It is incredibly blunt, no beating around the bush. It says, stay away from consumerism. Stay close to the AI race.
Stay close to the AI race. What does that mean practically?
It means, essentially, you have to find a way to be an asset in that race. Contribute somehow to the AI effort development infrastructure, application, maybe even the ethical framework around it. Or, the article warns, you risk becoming an obsolete byproduct of a dead economic model.
So it's not just about getting a job, it's about getting the right kind of job, one that aligns with this new national priority.
It's even deeper than that. It's about your fundamental place in what the article sees as the future coordination system of civilization itself. Are you part of the engine, or are you just legacy code?
Legacy code. Ouch. To really hammer this home, they use one final analogy at the end, right? The one about the company in crisis.
Yeah, the teaching analogy. It asks you to imagine working in a company that's facing a major financial crisis.
Okay.
In that situation, you've got your core people,
Yeah.
revenue makers, the ones directly bringing money in. And then you have the support staff, the non-core functions. Who gets cut first in a crisis?
Always the support staff, or nearly always.
Right. But in the AI era, the article argues, the key metric isn't even revenue anymore. That's the old game. The only question that determines your value, your relevance is, do you help win the AI race?
That is quite a takeaway. We've gone from a world seemingly driven by endless individual wants and desires, the whole consumerism cycle,
Yeah.
to potentially a world driven by the cold, hard logic of national AI survival. It's a massive fundamental shift in thinking.
It really is. And if you connect this to the bigger picture, it's clear this isn't just about, job losses here and there.
No.
It's potentially a fundamental change in how civilization organizes itself,
Yeah.
how it coordinates labor, what it values, what its purpose is, which naturally raises some pretty big questions.
It certainly does. Definitely gives you, the listener, a lot to think about. Your own role, your skills, your interests. How do they fit into this possible future?
Where do you align?
Exactly. And maybe leaves us with this final thought to chew on. If AI really doesn't need passengers, like the article suggests, and that old system of desire and consumption is fading, what is the new purpose? What new coordination mechanism might emerge for humanity itself? And if it really is an AI race between nations, what does winning actually mean for the average person living inside those nations?
Big questions indeed.
Something to definitely mull over. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.